Morning, guys. Welcome to Coffee Chat. Wow, beautiful, beautiful morning. Although the sky is gray, it is quite mild out here. It's not too hot and not too cold, kind of Goldilocks. It's really beautiful, actually. Guys, the two articles that I was reading today, I'm telling you, stupidity knows absolutely no limits. The first one is coming out from the Biden administration, and it has to deal with qualifying for better rates on your mortgage. Now, you would imagine that, hey, if you maintain good credit and you're responsible with your money and you save up a really good, decent down payment to buy a house and you put in all that extra effort, that you should get rewarded with a lower interest rate and a better terms on your mortgage and things like that. Well, this new piece of legislation that the Biden administration has put out is actually going to penalize people who do that and provide those with lower credit scores and lesser of a down payment will actually obtain better mortgage rates and better terms on their mortgages than those that actually went through the process of saving the money and really taking care of their credit. I mean, this is absolutely insane. And on top of that, when you consider what we went through in 2008 and 9 with that subprime mortgage deal, I don't even know how they could possibly think this up and consider that somehow this is good for the broader economy, because it is not. When you're dealing in a situation where you really can't afford a home, and yet, they make it so that you can get put into a home. One day, guys, the tide turns. And when the tide turns, what happens? You can't afford that place that you're living in. That low interest rate that you thought you were going to have, wow, suddenly, all of a sudden, circumstances change and you're having to refinance it. Then you find out your refi fees are out the door. And on top of that, your rate is way higher than what it once was when you first got in there. And now you can't even afford the home that you're living in and maybe have lived in for the last 5 or 10 years. And it's going to really cause some serious pain in the economy. But that does not even make fiscal sense. Can you imagine being a business and going in for a commercial loan and them come out and say, oh, well, your rate, you've been such a great business, you've managed your business well, you've maintained good books and records, you don't have any tax issues or anything like that. But you know what? Because you're in such good standing, we have to charge you two basis points over our prime lending rate. When another business could come in and have been very sloppy with their books and records, didn't maintain their tax records that good. And because, we have a special program for you issued out by the government, and we're actually able to give you a 1 basis point below prime on your loans, and so it would never ever fly. That would never fly in commercial lending. Yet for retail mortgages, they want to come out and apply this kind of thinking. It makes absolutely no sense. Look, I'm going to post that article right in the description of this video. Now, most times I don't like to do that on Coffee Chat. Only reason there, guys, is I love it when people actually go out there and get into the habit of doing some of their own research, because it's so vitally important, especially in this digital asset space. And sometimes when we get so used to being spoon-fed information like that, then we get kind of lazy and it hurts us in the end. So that's the only reason I don't put the links in there. But for today, that one I'm going to definitely put in there because it is absolutely obscene. Now, the second one that I was reading, the second article, kind of goes hand in hand with the first. And this one has to do with foreclosures across the nation. Listen to this. 95,000 foreclosures happened in this last year, up 22% from the prior year. And it's because folks couldn't afford the homes that they were in. And the banks on the books basically had held back a lot of foreclosures because they don't want to report them, and they think the number is far greater than that 22%. And that is because, they just hold off on actually conducting the foreclosure, even though they're not getting payments on their mortgage. Because why? They don't want to have to report those kind of losses on the books and records. I'm telling you guys, what we're seeing is almost a perfect storm. The economy is really contracting, and a lot of people are getting hurt. In fact, I was reading just the other day, I think Walmart is closing half their stores. I think it's either in Oregon or Washington, something like that. Half the stores in the entire state are being closed. That was absolutely insane to actually read that. Now, I'm forgetting the actual jurisdiction, but look it up. And in fact check that one because it is true. Walmart is closing a major amount of stores. Now, when you see Walmart, this is a major big box chain where most of the employees are just getting a little bit above minimum wage or at minimum wage. And the overhead, basically the cost of the goods is real low, but you know that they get major markups and percentages there, and it is a truly money-making business, to be sure. Well, when you see a big organization like that closing such a large volume of stores, that says everything right there. I mean, guys, we can understand them closing big stores like, Nordstrom's or stuff like that, because of course those are more high-end products, or maybe even Dillard's or things like that, because, the average cost of a sweater over there is $130 or whatever it is. You can get that. But when you're talking about these really, really low price stores where they have goods on the shelves that most people can afford and yet they're closing them, that says a lot, guys. That says a lot. That says the economy is truly, truly hurting. And on top of that, think of all those employees that are no longer working there. And there's a lot of people, especially retired folks, that work at places like Walmart for one purpose only, and that is to get the health care benefits. And now you don't even have that, and that's going to impact people in a big, big way as well. Guys, when you see all this socialist agenda and all these plans, they sound so great. Oh yeah, we're going to let people with absolutely dismal credit get a better rate and better terms on their mortgage than folks that have really disciplined themselves at any economic level, by the way. Financial discipline isn't just something. In fact, I know fairly wealthy people that are horrible with their money and have zero financial discipline. They can afford to pay their bills. They're just too idiotic and lazy to actually do it and end up, having to catch up after a while and stuff like that. And then there are those folks that really don't have a lot of money, but they manage every penny and they do it well, because there are people out there that have great money sense that just don't happen to have a lot of money to actually manage. But that does not mean that they're incompetent or incapable or somehow negligent in the way in which they deal with their money. So there are folks out there that are have huge discipline when it comes to actually, managing their money and establishing good credit and building up their savings and da-da-da-da-da. And yet, those folks are going to be penalized for people that absolutely, exercise zero discipline, had low credit scores, are going to get better mortgage rates. And when you see that kind of socialist stuff going on, I'm telling you, you're looking at, you're going down a very, very slippery slope. And you have to wonder, how could they not know that? And the truth is, guys, they do know it. But why are they allowing it? Why are they going to purposely put us in a situation down the road here like we were in 2008 with the subprime mortgage crisis? Guys, because they have an agenda. And this is about destroying, obliterating the middle class and really making a major divide between the haves and the have-nots. And the haves want to have it all. And they want the have-nots to have less than nothing. So why, guys? So they can have their great reset. They can just control the whole wide world. And it's just a few people that are pulling the strings for everything else out there. And that's why this is not a good idea. This is not a good plan. It's not good for you and I can tell you that, going down the road. And that's something we have to be so sharp about and be very conscientious about all these things that sound like such great plans, and all this and that, when the actual agenda, guys, is literal control and destroying the middle class. That's what it really feels like to me. Anyway, wow. I know that was a bit of a soapbox, but guys, you got to see the handwriting on the wall. And you can almost see, these guys think they're so subtle about it, but the reality is you can practically see it right before your very eyes taking place. The absolute destruction and implosion of the free market and the absolute destruction and implosion of the middle class. That's what I really see going on here. Well, guys, I sure hope that you're having a fantastic Thursday. And I'll tell you what, we've got a great video planned for you later on today. And until then, I sure hope you're having a good one, and take care.